So you are returning to the direction after a long time.
Yeah.
So what do you have to say upon that?
Well, I've been directing lots of other things. I'm directing a film after a very long time, and considering the pressure that we have now going on for the 15th of August, I think I'm not going to direct again for a very long time.
Hush, Abhishek.
I think doing Mumbai Diaries and Rocket Boys and being a good showrunner for the is thoda aram, because the pressure gets dissipated and um, it gets distributed between us and the platform and so many other people. But when you're directing a feature film and coming on 15th of August, opposite Sri 2, that's I mean, it's a task.
Sharvari, you are also shooting for Alpha.
Yes.
So, and you know, Alpha has action. This
Yes.
film, Vedaa, has got action. So, can I say that you found your new love in the action genre?
Yeah, no, for sure. I've always loved action as a genre because I think that it's one of the most entertaining genres, purely as an audience, and also as actors, it's really, really thrilling. I'm actually the more that I'm a part of action films, the more you want to do. It's like once you've tasted something, you want more of it. That's the feeling you get with action, and I really do want to be able to pull off action sequences and stunts that are quite hardcore, that are quite cool, because I think that we've seen a lot of men do this, but I really would like to be one of the first few females who start doing something like this. I think it's an incredible time. I think that my journey starts with Vedaa, and the film is called Vedaa. It's a titular role because it shows that in today's day and age that the generation that we speak to are ready to take the front seat and ready to take the driving role. So I think that it speaks a lot about our society.
Abhishek, how has been your experience of working with Sharvari and John Abraham and Nikhil?
Oh, it was like, I think, how do you put it? Since childhood, I've been dreaming about doing an action genre. And then Nikhil said, I think I didn't use this adjective earlier, but I always felt that he's a very cool director. I mean, that's one thing. I mean, good directors, yes, but the coolness, a cool quotient है जो उनके फिल्मों में पहले भी देखने को मिला. So I always wanted to work with him. This was the first time I was working with Sharvari, and I had no idea about what she can do on screen. But for me, I've said this before, that I think I will never be able to take out the memories of Vedaa, the way I used to see her when she used to come on set. I used to always observe her silently. I didn't interact with her that much because I wanted, there was an unsaid distance between my character and Vedaa's character. But I used to always observe her. Even the scene where I'm conversing with Abhimanyu, John's character, I could see that she is standing and giving me that hard look. And I knowingly I was not looking at her, because I wanted to feel that energy. And on back of Jitendra's Pratap, I know कि ये मेरे को क्या बोलते हैं घूर रही है और उसको मैं बताऊंगा. So when you have this such relation with your co-actors, I think you don't really need to speak much. People always talk about how you're building chemistry. Sometimes when you're working with good actors, you don't need to build any chemistry. You just need to land up on set, and everything just starts happening. Mm-hmm. And with John Abraham, I think, again, of course, there was a huge amount of nervousness because obviously I know that no matter what, but you will be always judged in a situation like that where you are playing an antagonist opposite him, and that too in an action film. So I would hear the voices ki, "Arey isko kahan le liya? Arey isko to body nahi hai." Things like that. These noises would always be in my head. But when I met him and when I started working with him, I realized what a incredible mind he has, and the understanding of script. I think he's really smart, and that's why probably he has been choosing even to produce. I think whenever he chooses to produce, he knows that the script is good, which is of course Vicky Donor, Madras Cafe, now Vedaa. I think he has that smart brain, a sharp brain working on that front. So you just learn from such people who have been around in the industry for so long. He has been doing action genre, and he has created a name for himself as an action superstar. And to do that so convincingly and have a varied performance in each I think that's not an easy task to do for over the years.
Nikhil, you have worked with John Abraham before also. So how was the experience of working with him once again for this project?
I mean, John is a friend, right? In the sense, we both love football. We both talk about everything under the sun. I don't think that. I think most people misread. They have this notion that somebody who has this kind of physicality would not be as sharp as he is. He's an extremely sharp human being. He has to be. He's an incredible businessman. I mean, if you think about the kind of films that he has produced, whether it's Parmanu, whether it's Madras Cafe, whether it's Vicky Donor, I mean, he's launched Ayushmann Khurrana and Sujit Sarkar, etc., right? In the sense, so these are very, very difficult films to make. Parmanu is a difficult film to make. So is Madras Cafe. I mean, they made Vicky Donor, and they don't use the word sex in the entire film, which is incredible. Made it into a family film, a film about sperm donation, right? So he's a very sharp person. He's very well read. He's very sharp. Comes from a great. I mean, his family, his mother, father, loving family, brother. So I mean, we have a lot of things in common in the sense that both Bombay boys, and he has an incredible sense of humor in the sense that he's every time he meets Sharvari, he says, "How much more of the other have you bought?" When he has bought half of Bandra. I mean, he runs and he's passionate, right? And he's passionate. Baba, I don't understand why I have a football club. I mean, it's like a white elephant. I don't know what I'm doing, but he does it. He loves football, and he loves films, and he loves bikes, and he loves animals. So he's like this big teddy bear, you know. He's like this massive teddy bear. He'll punch a guy into the wall but he sees an animal on the road, and his heart just completely these things, right? So it's very difficult you can't slot him, right? And so now here's this guy who you're working with, and now I think that we read each other so well. And I think that it took me a couple of weeks to get to read her, because now I know exactly when she's upset about something, and I'll go to the side and I'll say, "Come here, what is the thing? What is upset you? Why am I not doing action? In this scene, I should be doing the action. Why am I not doing? You know." So I can read John in a sense when I know for a fact, and I think that's something that Salman taught me. He said that if you have to direct big actors and stars, you need to understand when they are going to be uncomfortable, right? You need to I remember I was doing in Salamesh, we were doing the main song, and Salman wasn't getting the step, and I kept saying one more take, and then he called me. He said, "I'm not going to ask you to change the step, but you should have already changed the step, because that's a step that only a dancer can do." You know, choreographers sometimes give steps that that Vicky Kaushal can do and Ritik can do, man, but not everybody can, do something like that. So he said that, and that was my first big lesson working with. I mean, I've worked with Shah Rukh, and Shah Rukh is incredible, but you have to be able to. So I now know John के साथ कि यहाँ पे गड़बड़ है. And I'll go. Okay, what do you want to do? How do you want to do it?
Also, you have been into mainstream filmmaking for a long time. Then you shifted to indie commercial. So how did that shift happen?
How is it? Sorry?
You were in the mainstream filmmaking, right? You were making mainstream films, right? And then there was this shift to indie commercial with certain projects of yours. So how did that shift happen?
Commercial?
No, indie commercial.
Indie commercial.
So from mainstream to indie commercial.
That's a damn good word. I'm going to use
indie
this.
commercial. Even I like it.
I'm
Even I'm hearing it for the first time. It's a cool word.
I keep telling people, and it's very interesting that you're saying indie commercial is damn good.
He's very impressed.
I'm going to patent it. I'm going to say I made it up. So I'm just telling you right now. Later on, don't put on tag. You're saying, "Hey, you are plagiarized my this thing and all that." I'm saying so. I keep telling people that Vedaa is a indie film disguised as a mainstream film.
Yes.
Right? I keep telling everyone. Because it has all the ingredients that we want from a mainstream commercial. I cannot do something that is more mainstream than Vedaa. It has got dialogue, it's got action, it's got drama, it's got great performances, it's got massive visual scale, massive emotional scale, but it has a great social message. At its heart, it has a great social message. So I think that's what indie commercial is too good. So how did I make the transition to indie commercial? I know I grew up. I think I became less insecure about because I got two wonderful producers and they basically said, go ahead and do what you want to do. Don't worry about the money. We'll make sure that you have the money, and they make sure that I live very comfortably. So I don't have to actually be afraid. The most liberating thing a storyteller and a filmmaker can have is that he's not afraid of Friday. Don't be afraid of the Friday. You're coming to work on Monday. You have a job on Monday. Don't worry about it. And that's because that's the power that gives you that gives you the power to say, मुझे नहीं करना है, मुझे ये नहीं करना है, मैं कुछ और करने वाला हूँ. Even as actors, when they reach that stage, right, where they are, it's okay. I made a mistake. Friday was a big thing. I did it for some reason. Life goes on. I'm very good. I'm going to keep doing it. That's a big plus point.
Sharvari and Abhishek, next question is for both of you actually. So what made you say yes to the film, and if you could describe about your characters a bit? Though of course it's there in the trailer, but a few more lines maybe.
Yeah, ladies first.
So when I heard the narration of Vedaa, I was spellbound. Like I remember being in the MA office, and when I was narrated the story, I forgot that I was at a narration. I was very moved. I was in tears in some of the scenes. I instantly knew that I wanted to be a part of this because I think it's a story that needs to be told. Even through the film, I was actually thoroughly getting entertained because it's a really entertaining script. But like Nikhil sir said, it has a very solid core. And that's what stood out for me because I love commercial films. Like I'm not gonna lie, I love commercial films. I'm that kind of person who loves dialogue bazi in films. Like I have watched like Bahubali 3 times. So I love those kind of films, and I feel like this film has all of that, and it has that beautiful core which will get people to think. And that's what and of course, saying that as an actor, I was really hungry and really greedy to get a role like this because it's a titular role for me, and to get that so early on in your career is it's a blessing, and it kind of moves you in the right direction when you have a director like Nikhil Advani, when you have an action superstar like John, when you have such talented actors like Abhishek. I think that it's a no-brainer, So for me, I think all of these things were just the recipe for a perfect film that I had to say yes for.
Yeah, I mean, I always wanted to work with Nikhil sir. So in a way, like, I've said this before, I chased him to, cast me somewhere. And then once I heard the script, I was telling myself that I'm just lucky that, he thought of me for this part, Jitendra Pratap Singh. I just love the name, the way it sounds. And also I've been an ardent fan of, the whole old school Bollywood commercial dialogue bazi, and there's a lot of that in this film. So it's, of course, there's a lot of action, and with that we have the the classic dialogue bazi, which I sometimes feel that the problem with having that thappa of being a good actor is that people think that he would not want to do a commercial masala, or he would not be he might not be the first choice for a film like that. But I think no matter how many European cinema or foreign cinema you watch, you grow up watching the OG Bollywood films, and I think we all are a part of that. So I'm a 90s kid, from 60s to 70s, 80s, I think 50s की फिल्में थी जो मैंने शायद कम देखी होंगी. But otherwise, I think I've seen all kind of films and all kind of genre, and action has always been my favorite genre. So there was no way I was going to say no. I mean, this was like a great opportunity for me, and thankfully I'm a part of this film.
The topic of casteism, it has been touched before also, but it wasn't, I would say, fully displayed. It was there at some portions in certain projects. So how challenging it was to, make an entire film with this topic taking forward?
Well, I mean, I don't want to. I feel that because of the way I have been mentored myself by people like Sudhir Mishra and Saeed Mirza and Renu and these kind of conversations used to happen is dinner table conversations that used to happen, because I mean they are very, very for them these making films about these kind of social messages are very important, right? Sudhir and Saeed and all of them. And for me really is like going back to my roots with everything that I've been doing post starting MA from D-Day onwards. Everything that I've been going is very, very conscious to come to that where what I was trained under. When I went to Xavier's, and Xavier's in Bombay is a college where you're encouraged to think, and you're encouraged to speak out, and you're encouraged to question. And I think that that is something. So whether it's Vedaa is about caste. Tomorrow I might want to make a film about poverty. I might want to make a film about unemployment. I might want to make a film about, I don't know, everything that I mean social media. I don't know, right? I think that I'm surrounded by very strong women, and two of my producers, my wife, my daughter, and Vedaa is a story about that girl, that woman. That at the end of the day, there's a lovely shot which I just thought about last minute, and it was not in the script. And after the explosion, and John is driving the car, and he looks in the rearview mirror, and she puts her head on her father's shoulder. That actually symbolizes Vedaa. So here's this girl who has gone through everything. But at the end of the day, the comfort she finds on her father's shoulder is what is a daughter, right? And at the end of the day, I mean, this is. So I feel that it's very tough. It's extremely tough. You got to get it right. You got to get it because you might when there are too many complexities to this. It's 2000 years old. It's been going on for a very, very long time. But I think that it's important to talk about it, and the more people can talk about it, finally, right, the more I think that we'll be successful with a film like this.
And was it from the beginning that you wanted to tell the story through the female voice, through the the main character to be female?
Did I wanted to say sorry?
That you wanted the main character, the lead character, to be female.
Yeah.
Was it
there was no question about it. I mean, I can't tell this story. I can't tell the story of Vedaa without the main character being female. There's no question. It's not possible. I think that's why at the beginning I always say that the most important person in the film is John Abraham. I could not tell this film at the scale that I've been allowed to tell this film without John saying, मैं तो सिर्फ सारथी हूँ, चक्रव्यूह तोड़ने वाली अंदर